Okay, next poem. Robert Service, Spell of the Yukon. It's about a prospector who went to the Yukon Territory during the Alaska Gold Rush to find gold and get rich, and ended up finding an environmental treasure that meant more to him than all that gold. And hopefully it goes something like this. I wanted the gold, and I got it. Came out with a fortune last fall, yet somehow life's not what I thought it. And sometimes the gold isn't all. No, there's a land. Have you seen it? It's a cussedest land that I know, from the big dizzy mountains that screen it to the deep death-like valleys below. Some say God was tired when he made it. Some say it's a fine land to shun. Maybe. There's some as would trade it for no land on earth. And I'm one. You come to get rich. Damn good reason. You feel like an exile at first. You hate it like hell for a season. And then you're worse than the worst. It grips you like some kinds of sinning. It twists you from foe to a friend. It seems it's been since the beginning. It seems it will be to the end. I've stood in some mighty mouth hollow that's plumb full of hush to the brim. I've watched the big husky sun wallow in crimson and gold and grow dim, till the moon set the pearly peaks gleaming and the stars tumbled out neck and crop, and I thought I surely was dreaming with a piece of the world piled on top. The summer, no sweeter was ever, the sunshiny woods all a-thrill, the grayling a-leap in the river, and the bighorn asleep on the hill. The strong life that never knows harness, the wilds where the caribou calls, the freshness, the freedom, the farness. God, how I'm stuck on it all. The winter, the brightness that blinds you, the white land locked tight as a drum, the cold fear that follows and finds you, and the silence that bludgeons you dumb. The snows that are older than history, the woods where the weird shadows slant, the stillness, the moonlight, the mystery. I've bade 'em goodbye, but I can't. There's a land where the mountains are nameless, and the rivers all run God knows where, and their lives that are erring and aimless, and death that just hangs by a hair. There are hardships that nobody reckons. Their valleys unpeopled and still. There's a land that beckons and beckons, and I want to go back, and I will. They're making my money diminish. I'm sick of the taste of champagne. Thank God when I'm skinned to a finish, I'll pike to the Yukon again. And I'll fight, and you bet it's no sham fight. It's hell, but I've been there before, and it's better than this by a damn sight. So me for the Yukon once more. There's the gold, and it's haunting and haunting. It's luring me on as of old, yet it isn't the gold that I'm wanting so much as it's finding the gold. It's a great big broad land way up yonder. It's a forest where silence has lease. It's the beauty that thrills you with wonder. But it's the stillness that fills you with peace. Isn't that pretty? And now it's the cremation, right? Yep. I think the next one is again a Robert Service. It's the cremation of Sam Mcgee. I know exactly why my ancestors moved to the sunny south, and it's because our genetic code doesn't translate cold very well. And I can't imagine how anybody would ever make it to the sunny south and would end up going back up north, even if it was to go to find all that gold and get rich. This next poem is about just such a fellow, good old southern boy, who left the South and went to the Yukon Territory during the Alaska Gold Rush to find all that gold, and ended up finding nothing but a whole lot of coal. And whenever I ask myself how that could possibly have happened, The only answer I can come up with is that there are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see is that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge, I cremated Sam Mcgee. Now, Sam Mcgee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd sooner live in hell. But it all started on a Christmas day. We were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold through the parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close and the lashes froze till sometimes we couldn't see. Wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam Mcgee. And that very night as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the stars were fed and the dogs were fed and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and kept saying, he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request. Well, it seemed so low that I couldn't say no. Then he says with a sort of a moan, it's a cursed cold and it's got right hold till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. Yet 'tain't being dead, it's the awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair, you'll cremate my last remains. Well, a pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on his sleigh and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. Before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam Mcgee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death as we hurried hard, driven with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true and it's up to you to cremate these last remains. Well, the promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long nights, by the lone firelights, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless knows, oh God, how low that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, but on I went though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in, and I'd often sing to that hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake LaBarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, and I saw in a trice it was called the Alice May. I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen chum. Then here, said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Well, some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit the boiler fire, and some coal I found it just lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flame just soared, and the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see, and I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam Mcgee. Then I took a hike, 'cause I didn't like to hear him sizzle so, and the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I don't know why, and the greasy smoke and an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. Now, I don't know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and they danced about. Ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked. And it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar, and he wore a smile you could see a mile. And he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and the storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. So there's strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who mull for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. And the Northern Lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see is the night on the marge of Lake LaBarge. I cremated Sam McGee.